This is our last song. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out all day. You've been an amazing audience. This place is really cool. Thank you so much for coming out. I want to introduce everybody. This is Samir Bhattacharya on this guitar right here. This is James Culpepper on the drums right here. This is Pat Seals on the bass. This is Jared Hartman on this guitar. My name is Lacey. And we're called Flyleaf, in case, oh, there it is. And the thing is, I just want to introduce everybody because we're just a group of friends from a small town in Texas that started a band, and amazing miracles have happened to bring us here. And just the fact that some of us are still alive is God's miracle by itself. But then everything else that He had planned to do with our life was so far beyond what I could have imagined for myself. And it's not because I'm extra special or because God is any respecter of persons. He's not. He knit everyone together in their mother's womb. In your mother's womb, He knit you together, and He had a plan for you from that moment. And He had a way that He could use your life if you would just give it to Him. And the thing is, so many times we shortchange ourselves because we believe a lie. We believe a lie that everything we see is all we get. And what the Bible says is that what you see is only temporary, and what you don't see, that's what's eternal. And some people right here, when I said that, they felt that being true. They knew that that was true because they've been searching for that truth. And that's written in the Bible because it's very true. And the thing is that when I was 16 years old, I was an atheist from the time I was 10 till the time I was 16. Something horrible happened when I was 10 years old, and I thought, there cannot be a God. My cousin was beat to death when he was 3 years old by his stepfather, and I thought, there's no way there's a God. And at 10 years old, I quit believing in God. And I hated Christians. I hated people. I started to just hate people. Unless they had been through something really heavy and dark, and they hated people too, I didn't like them. I was so full of hurt and hate, and I just wallowed around in it all the time. I started going into depression at 10. And I just built every negative thing on top of each other until I was 16 years old and decided, I've done all these things, tried to fill this void in me, tried to make life worth living, and there's nothing that makes it worth anything. There's too much pain to keep going. I just don't want to wake up anymore. And I planned to commit suicide when I was 16. And what was so crazy is that when I woke up that morning, from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed that night, the God of the universe chased me down to prove to me not only that He existed, but that He loved me. And even though I had hated Him and had spoken against His people every chance I got, to prove that He wasn't real, because I thought I was that smart. And what was so amazing is I ended up in church just to get my grandma to stop yelling at me, because I had a nervous breakdown and I cut off my hair, and she said, "You're going to go to church." And I was like, I'm not going to church. I have other plans, and I plan to commit suicide. And she said, "You're going to go to church." And she screamed at me for about an hour, and I finally, just to get her to shut up, I said, "Okay, I'll go to church, just as long as you stop screaming." So I ended up in church, the worst place to me, the last place I wanted to be. And the preacher was up there talking about families that he'd worked with over the years, families that he had walked along beside, and dysfunction that he had seen, and horrible things that he saw happen. And I just kept hearing things that I'd seen in my own life, things that I'd gone through in my family. And he said, these kids grow up with so much pain, and we belittle them. We act like, oh, you'll know what it's like when you get older. And he got onto the adults. He said, you don't know what they go through. You don't know the pain that they carry and the weight that they carry. And he said, and every time he said pain, my heart just broke. And I thought, he's talking to me, but I have to get out of here because this is weird. And so whenever this man starts crying, and he said, there is a suicidal spirit in this room. Please come up and let us pray for you, because we want you to know that Jesus died to take your pain away, and he wants you to live. And I said, there's no way I'm going up there in front of everybody and saying that I'm going to be a Christian after. I saw people in the church that I had totally made fun of in front of everyone because they were Christians, and I was at school, and I was not going to go up there and become a Christian in front of it. My pride was too much, too big. And so anyway, he finally dismissed us, and I got up and I pretty much ran almost to the door to get out of there, because it was so weird that he said that. I knew it was for me, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. I went to the door, and this man grabbed my arm. It was a deacon in the church, and he looked at me, and he had been crying, and he said, God wants me to speak to you, and he wants you to know that even though you've never known an earthly father, that he will be a better father to you than any earthly father could ever be. And he wants you to know that he loves you, and he died to take your pain away, to heal that pain in your heart. And he said, do you want the pain to go away? And I answered honestly, because I was ready to die, and I just wanted to tell someone. I said, yeah, I want the pain to go away. I'm tired of crying myself to sleep every night. And he said, God wants you to know he's seen you. He said that to me. He said, before I even told him about that, he said, he's seen you crying yourself to sleep every night. And he didn't intend for you to live that way. He came so that you would have life and have it to the fullest. When we talk about sin, we need to understand what sin is. Sin is not God saying, you can't do this, you can't do this, because he wants to take something away from you. He's saying, if you do this, it will be death. If you do this, it will be life. And then he says, please choose life so that you can live. Please. I made you. I know how you work. I made this whole earth. I know how it works. And please, I'm telling you, this is life. This is death. Please choose life so you can live. And the thing is, we all chose death. We all went through life and believed a lie that said everything we see is all we get, so we must take as much of it as we can. There's nothing left. There's nothing else besides this. If this feels good, let's do it. And in the end, we came away so empty and broken, and we're like, well, that is crappy. Let's do something else. And we kept going and going until we just tore ourselves up, and God said, if you do this, you are supposed to die. But I love you so much that I'm going to die in your place, so you won't have to die. And that's why Jesus came. He came so we don't have to die for the things that we chose, the death that we chose. And he told me, he said, he didn't come just to save you from your sins. He came to give you life and to give it to you to the fullest. And that's why I'm still alive. And that's why Franklin Graham has put together this whole thing, and all these people behind the scenes that are praying for you. They're not doing it because they want numbers. They don't make money on this. The $10 you paid to get in here does not cover the cost of what this happens here. They're doing this because God saved them from death. And they knew, and when God saved them from death, they knew that he loved them. And if he loved them, then he loves anyone. He loves everyone the same. And they're doing this because they want to share that love with you and save you from death by the message of Jesus. That's why we're here. It's not so we can pull in numbers. It's so that we can tell you the truth. Because we are lied to every day that this is all you get. This is only temporary. It's a blink of an eye. You spend 9 months in a womb to come out and live 100 years. We spend 100 years on the earth to go out and live in eternity. This is just a moment. Maybe 100 years. Not hardly anyone's going to live 100 years. But this is just a blink of an eye compared to what's coming. And everything here is preparation for what's coming, is understanding the truth. He didn't save me and then kill me because he wanted me to come be with him, even though I would have been happy about that. I was ready to die. I woke up the next day and I'm like, okay, why do you want me to keep living? And it was so I could tell people that he loves them so they won't die. And that's what this song's about. It doesn't matter who you are or what you believe or what you've done. I'm so tired of hearing kids come up to me who struggle with homosexuality and they say, if you're a Christian, don't you think that God hates people that are gay? It hurts my heart so bad to hear that, because that is a lie. He loves you. He is a God of love. And I said, no, God loves you. And the only reason why he would say one thing or another about how you live your life is because he wants you to have life. But he loves you, and don't you believe that God hates you. That's a lie. Or that I think that. Who am I to say that? He saved me from hating him and hating people. I began to love people after I became a Christian, because I knew that he loved people. And that's what this song's about. It's about how no matter who you are, or what you believe, or what you've done, or where you are, that he loves you. If you reject him, if you hate him up to your deathbed, he still loves you. It says that the reason why he doesn't let people die when they're living horrible is because he's patient. And he's not willing that one would perish, but that all would come to repentance through the knowledge of Jesus Christ. And this song's called He Loves Us. And this is for you and me.